everyone, it's Adrian Leah. I'm filming another reading, and I talk a lot in the beginning. I'll try to talk a little less. Um, it's interesting what happened right before I was about to start making the video. Um, I suppose it happened over a short period of time, but the message was definitely relayed before I started, or I pressed the button. And it started when there was a heavy storm. I have talked about that in the area, and it's been a heat wave in this state, in my godmother's state, um, all different places. And um, when I got back from visiting my godmother's, I usually just keep the TV on. I tend to keep all the lights on anyway. Um, and the TV screen, it was like white, it was like gray. And I only kept it on one channel because I'm not one to watch a lot of TV. So it's kind of like a background thing, and most of the time I don't keep like the sound on, but since the TV is right in front of where I paint or where I eat, I might as well just have it there to play something. And it's the Discovery Channel, and all day it's just horror or paranormal TV shows. Um, and it's very, I guess, one way or the other because, as I said, I don't really watch TV a lot. So I was like, well, it lost signal for that specific channel. I guess I'll find another channel that there's a signal on. And so I opted for um, Disney Kids, and so I don't mind. I like the cartoons too. And there was this one show that I have watched pretty regularly when there is cable, and that's Matcha and the Bear. And I'm not sure how it is in other countries, but it's distinct in a way where there isn't dialogue in the whole show. So um, the child is talking to the woodland animals, especially the bear, and there's the point when I was about to get ready to make the video where I didn't have the sound on, so I don't know if there was sound specifically, but there was writing or subtitles at the bottom of the screen because well, Masha was sleeping in her, I suppose, cradle, and one of her toys, like her toy doll, went went off the shelf and came to her. I'm not sure if it, I suppose it was like the holidays, like maybe Christmas time, because there were Christmas stockings and it had her name written on them or embroidered on them. And so it was reminiscent of like an Ebenezer Scrooge type of um, moment because the time, the clock was like uh, going backwards, and it brought her to when she was even younger. Uh, and um, the writing or like the subtitles at the bottom was like talking about um, you have to remember like you can't forget type of situation. And it's been a consistent message for me because I feel like this like spirits, especially when I'm doing these readings. It's like they're saying that you have to remember, you can't forget, and it may be to be more consistent with these. It could also be other things, and maybe through time it'll be more realized. Um, and maybe just a reminder, because the grandmother energy does come to me pretty frequently. Sometimes random visions, and I know uh, it was like a vision like in the spirit world, and then she's looking at me, and then it's almost like she reaches out to like kind of like looking straight at me, like reaches out to touch my forehead or something. And I had another vision today, so there may be more of retrieving light. Sorry, retrieving light, uh, like channeled messages and my traveling again, because it was a moment where it was meeting uh, at like the spirit in the spirit world, and with a moment where I encountered and met up with my dear late cat Kiki, and that happened before when we traveled, and she was my travel companion to retrieve light, and that would be the light and key readings and channel messages, as I keep saying. So right before that, and before beginning the video, I thought it was also reminiscent of like when I was in my studio apartment before being in the hotel, and just to say that this is the first time that there wasn't signal for any channel, well, for the one channel that I kept the TV on, and it's always been on until, well, since I've been here, so it's been over a month. Um, Reminiscent of when I was in my studio, because the way that it was set up, there was a divider of like a bookshelf and storage on the other side. So that at that point, because it was like the conversation after having the conversation of Matanka, and sorry for my accent, and the doll kind of reminded me of that in a way, even though it wasn't necessarily that on the TV show, because after that conversation, it was like um, I heard my name, which is super unusual because I don't usually get messages the way that I did that day or that night, because it was like an echo. Like it wasn't right as if a person was talking to me in this plane or this world. And it was strong to where I could hear it distinctly. And after that conversation of like the Matanka, I got a vision of an older woman in front of a building, and the building, well, the whole vision was um, like sepia. It looked like an old picture type of thing. Like it was kind of tan, I guess, the vision. And I was thinking, well, maybe I'll just keep it in mind, but it's let time pass with it type of thing, I suppose. Um, those are the main things. And as I said, there are storms um in this area. It was definitely noticeable because the fresh rain was when I was on the highway. And I've been trying to use the new curlers that I got. I got these curlers that you just, roll up there, and then has a clip, and there isn't like I don't know what the fuzzy things are called, which I feel like is kind of convenient. Um, it's been a while since I've used them, but I re remember vaguely the last time I've used those types of curlers. I didn't like when you took them out and they kind of like stuck to um, the curler a little bit. So it left it like it was very soft and kind of um, the the hair. It felt like it draped, but it was like a soft drape, like you like having like maybe soft hair or something, which was really nice. I have naturally curly hair, and I like doing my hair too. Um, one second. Sorry, I had orange juice before I started filming too, and um, I guess it's a little acidic for me right now, but it's okay though. But another thing is it's like the deck found me because the world knows that I like a good deal, and um, I shop a lot of sales because it's fun to find something cool that's on sale. So I was in the bookstore, um, and because it's next to a Target where I get wipes, and I'm picky about the wipes, so I like the ones that they sell there. And um, there's a bookstore, and I like to sit and knit wherever I can. I got a lot of knitting done, and I say that, but for my test knit, there's definitely a time crunch for it. So um, it's getting there, and I will be finishing it before the deadline, which is the beginning of August. Um, and it's going to be a garment. Mm. Supposedly fingering weight, but it's kind of I substituted for like a sport DK, so it'll be a little faster. But when I was in the bookstore, this never happens, and I found this. There's like the last chance items where there's some stuff on sale, and Barnes and Noble, they don't have sales like this. Like they have bargain decks in like the bargain section, and those are I feel like those are a category on its own because they're kind of like sets, and they're a little they like you can read with them, but it's a little bit of a different type of product. I got Tarot of the Mystical Moments, and it's I would say it's like a vintage type of deck, and the retail price is 20. It's either 25 or 29. I took the wrapper off of it, but it was discounted to $10. And I feel like they caught on to that because like I left because um I got a workbook from the language section, and I was like, I'll just let it be because I have decks, but it was still kind of on my mind, and a lot of times when I like put something down, when I say I'm not gonna buy it, and it's not like something I'll necessarily um will get it out of sight, out of mind type of thing. But this was on my mind, and I felt like it was um, going to be something that I could use. So I called them the next day and I asked them to put it aside for me, or I could pay over the phone, and they just put it aside for me, and I picked it up today. And I saw another deck that I'm sorry, I'm almost done talking. I there is this other deck that I gifted to my cousin, and he is like my best friend. So I don't really talk to most of my family, but um, I guess it's like a good dynamic because sometimes um, he sees, I don't know, the fire that I have, like, and he doesn't try to dim it down. Like if I feel very strongly about something, and it doesn't necessarily have to be like anger, or he'll, give some words of wisdom, and just let me do my thing. I feel like he knows not to really force anything for me to, like, he can't force me to do something, but I feel like he knows that he isn't meant to really talk to me in that way, but just give some things to consider, and I feel like he trusts my judgment on things. So I gave him that deck that was on sale, and just to say all that, that deck that was on sale, that wasn't the deck that I picked up. They knew that like it was super cheap, so I saw that they removed the sticker that was originally $10 to $15. Of course, because there was another deck that just like isn't it wasn't there anymore, so I'm assuming someone purchased it. I'm gonna get started on the reading. So sorry for all my talking. And of course, I started uh, a gift knit. I saw it getting worked up, and I was like, this is meant to be mine. So the typical Adrian fashion, I'm gonna knit it for myself, then quickly knit the next one as if I'm knitting like a pair of mittens. And I'm currently on my second mitten for the pretty green mittens. I really loved how they blocked out, and I feel like it really delivered like with the yarn, because it was kind of like scrunched and had like memory of the knitting, and there was kind of tension in the yarn. So after the wash, again, it like bloomed and it relaxed, it draped, it did all the things that you would want the yarn to do. Um, it looks more rounded and more complete. The stitches look so much neater, and I didn't think they were neat like when I was knitting it. But again, the yarn, and that's just to say, because um, color work and cables are the main type of knitting that I do. So it's definitely one where you just want to keep knitting it just to see the final product of it too. And I know like some knitters, they're like, if they say, I think they're the like process knitters, where they enjoy knitting. I mean, I enjoy specific aspects of knitting. I'm I don't do a lot of plain knitting, especially And I feel like it's a long road ahead of me when I'm doing the body of a sweater after the yoke, the top of it, before you cut for the sleeves. Um, that's fun for me, but then if it's plain where the body is, I feel like it takes forever because I don't like plain knitting. So I guess, I don't know if like that's the other side of the coin where it's like product knitting, where I'm determined to get the product, so it's gonna kind of suck. Like, well, I guess that's what came out. It's not gonna be super fun for me. Again, just me, um, to do that plain knitting, but I know a lot of people like that. You may think that 20 minutes, 21 minutes is a lot, and it is, of me just talking, but trust me, I've talked longer, so. Oh yeah, and another song that came into my mind when I was, after I did the longer reading, was the song, like, If You Only Knew, the Shine Down one. I said that in another video, like, oh, gold earrings. Maybe I'm in my gold earring era. So this isn't like the product in the way that it was made, but I had to fix one of them because one of them got stuck in my hair. It was me. It wasn't like the product or anything. So I just like yanked it out. I like ripped it out because it was bothering me. Because a lot of stuff gets stuck in my hair. So I don't know. But I like how there's the here's the this is the Emperor card. This is the first card that I'm seeing. The other cards are still face down. There's silver gilding. I prefer silver gilding. I don't think I have mm, one deck, just one that has the gold gilding. And I feel like this is nice because it has like a dreamlike type of like the symbols in here and the way that it portrays the meanings. Because I feel like a lot of times my readings are interpreted as like abstract when I pick out different parts of the card. And I keep getting like the message like F plus. Like it doesn't have to be in school, but that would be kind of like a grading system, at least like private school. an F plus would be a solid 69 at best. For public school, I feel like it's slightly different. At least the I went to private school most of my life, but I went to public school for a month. Um, I didn't get kicked out or anything, but I did get sent to the principal's office. So I transferred back to the private school, but I preferred it because there were so many rules. I feel like private school, there's definitely like a title with it, and I don't mean to be like saying one is better than the other, like education with education. Um, because the public school that I went to, it was ranked really high in the state. So it didn't have to do with that. There were just so many rules. Like, even going to the bathroom was just like, you needed a hall pass, and like, people like watched the hallways, and like, when you were in lunch, like, you couldn't go anywhere. That was like one of the main things because in the private school that I would go to, um, it's called free period. So you could either, sorry, I'm gonna turn over the cards. I'm so sorry. You could either like study like in the library or go to the cafeteria. A lot of people just walked around the hallways like they didn't care, and that was that was it. And especially like senior year, I feel like this is like it for a lot of when it's your last year in high school. You would put your free periods towards the end of the day because you're allowed to leave early. So, um, and then if you're a senior and then your teacher isn't there, like you just had a free period. So it was way more convenient. So it was also me just kind of not liking the rules. There's also another card that I got before this. So I'll show the oracle cards now because I just keep talking. So it's the you know what to do, Archangel Uriel, trust your inner knowledge and act upon it without delay. Has been a card that shows up in the readings. Creative writing, Archangel Gabriel, make time to write down your thoughts in a journal or pen, an article or book. The one that I got before this, oh my god, it's crazy because I pulled out cards from the Glory to Ukraine Tarot that are the exact cards from one of the card draw or mini readings that I posted, and it's the Knight of Pentacles and the Knight of Swords. But the Knight of Pentacles came out before the Knight of Swords this time. I feel like there's a lot of dwelling because it just feels like people are up in your business with the Ten of Swords. They either might be intrigued about like the stuff that you share or the stuff that um, maybe you post or both. There's like energy of like you haven't talked to certain people and they still keep tabs. That's like the main energy of it. And like you can see like the hands just poking because there's needles there, and it's kind of like prodding almost. Like, are you gonna do it? Are you gonna do it? Like, um, there feels like an anticipation because like the first card that came out is the Emperor card, and with the Emperor card, I feel like it's a card in this reading. The first card that I saw that really helps depict the situation because you see that it's kind of like a puppeteer almost. Like there's a lot of delegating underneath, or like, I don't want to say it in a bad way, but for certain moments, you do certain things because it could be like the lesser of two evils, doing what's necessary. I know there's definitely a moment in time for me right now because after having my cats for over 7 years, um, my god brother visits my godmother occasionally. Um, and he was closer to my brother because they were kind of like closer in age, and it was kind of like the runt that was like that couldn't hang out with them. So I feel like it's still, obviously it's not like really catch up or anything, and I don't um, need any of that. But I he visited my godmother one time and brought one of his assistants and asked and like talked to me about the cats, and then brought up, if you're interested in adopting the cats, I know someone who wants to adopt them. And after all these years, of course, I love the cats. I thought of like having them get adopted here and there because of how much I moved, and now there's this person that for the first time there's somebody that asked me to adopt my cats, and I felt like it was divine timing because of everything that's happening of me with the move. Um, but I did what I could to give them the life that I could give them, that was the best life that I could give them, even though sometimes it didn't seem like it. Um, After all this time that they have dealt with me, they still gave me like the unconditional love, and I'm I was definitely weary and wanted to make sure that they wouldn't end up in a shelter. Like I was ready for um, getting their passports and maybe certifications. Of course, they need vaccines, all of that, and their plane tickets. And there's a lot to go into it. And so, after all the things I did, I don't regret it, no matter the situations, the friendships that ended because of my cats. I don't regret it. So, that's kind of like the energy of what the Emperor is. It's kind of really tied in with the expectation or duty of the Ten of Swords. And with the Ten of Swords, like, I feel like people are trying to get more out of it, like more information or get their updates as to why they need updates. They might just be curious, or there might be a specific purpose. even some are conflicted. The first two cards that popped out for the Slavic legends are the Page of Swords and the Five of Wands. So there could be disinterest or even disgust in some regards with the like decision that was made or the things that somebody is doing and what they're not doing. Again, the way that you present yourself and the way that maybe other people interact with you, it puts up a mirror to how they are, how their life is, or how your life is, and to be more stable and confident that and trusting that your life is going the direction that it needs to be. I feel like there's one side of the coin, or like one side of it, that it's reflecting towards a person or people to where they see their situation and the path that they took, and that's what their life is. And just because your path is different, it doesn't make it any better or any worse. It's just your path. If it feels right to you, it feels right to you. It's a problem if you're on a path and it doesn't feel right to you and you keep doing like the same stuff. Like I don't know what to tell you. So there's specific people that just want to be present for those things, and it's so irrelevant. I'm not saying this for everybody, and I don't mean it to sound like mean or anything, but that's just the reality of it is. Especially when maybe certain people that entered your life at some point um, didn't want to be a part of your life for whatever reason, and then realize that maybe they left because of other people's opinions about this person, or they left because they didn't think that they could stand by this person. It could be vice versa. But I feel like it has to do with like people from the past and also people that you haven't met before. Like it feels a little rounded in that way, but for sure, like the past energy is coming up. And with the Ten of Swords, there's the Four of Swords. And this feels, for some reason, it feels lonely. It's like laying down on a moon that it's like a bed and having that one large feather and then having like the other feathers just kind of be up in the air. There's like something that the word that comes out is troubling them from that Ten of Swords. And this definitely feels like it reaches a specific audience because it's being able to move confidently in the direction that you feel confident about. Even though there's uncertainty of what's going to happen in the future, there's a will to keep going and an excitement of what it could be instead of just being on this, being like, um, a person that doesn't know how to to put change into their life. And I'm not saying you always have to change your life, but um, say if you wanted a better job, you wanted a better this, you wanted a better that, and yet you keep doing the same things. And it's like it's not going to change because you keep doing the same things and your mind is still in this one place instead of thinking about the other things that it could be. And again, this is a specific message. There's a lot of pages in here because in the beginning there's the Page of Swords, there's also the Page of Pentacles, and then the Page of Wands is in the past. So this could have been something or like some moment that really angered somebody. It could have angered you too with the wands. Because this feels like kind of like a temperamental type of situation. Because it's a page and it's not that developed and it feels like it loses steam easily or just basically like hothead energy. And there isn't the Page of Cups. So I feel like that is a thing that maybe the Ten of Swords or the Four of Swords or what is being realized. Like this other group or people, or group people that watch or like that hone into this, um, they're really just glued to the negative aspects of it. Because the cups is like soft, loving type of energy. Um, it kind of reminds me of like, I was thinking about it the other day because I go through phases of different colors. So it like starting like the fifth grade is when I really kind of determined like what my favorite colors were. It was like black, if you want to count it, red, um, yellow, and for the longest time, green. I feel like now it's like a soft yellow. It kind of reminds me of like the softness, I don't know if you can see, of this yellow. Because it feels a little like romantic. And I feel like that's what like kind of the energy of like the Page of Cups is. I'm gonna see where the card is that I pulled earlier. And again, this is different from like people that support the situation, the things that you're doing. This feels like more of people that are kind of just being nosy about it. So the card that I pulled earlier is Take Your Power Back. Archangel Raziel, use your God-given power and intention to manifest blessings in your life. Again, another four. There's the Four of Swords, and this is the Four of Cups. And I'm not saying this like in a medical way. So with the Four of Cups, it feels like a triggering energy. triggering somebody like emotionally based off of this Page of Swords, and that's why the Five of Wands comes up. And I honestly wouldn't worry about it because the obstacle is the Magician, and then it's like doing your own thing. Like really going in and doing your own thing. This is like full on focus, concentration on your own path, your career, the things that you're supposed to do. If it has to do with relationships, you could relate it to however it is in your life. Because how to overcome the obstacle is the Six of Coins. And honestly, it kind of feels like giving little or no effort into other areas that aren't realized or not realized in a way where it's um, like if you don't know these people, but you kind of feel like somebody is kind of like on the prowl or um, trying to dig into your business, it's it's not important. The things that you do in your life are important. It's prioritizing your life, the things that you need to do, because they're not going to be paying your bills. They're not going to be um, supporting you in the times of sorrow. Like you, when maybe if you're not living with anybody or you're not with anybody, it's like you can uplift yourself, and it definitely takes time, and it feels like being able to heal when you're still wounded. I did the Wounded Warrior type of reading, and what comes up here is also the Wounded Healer. So, um, to heal yourself, and I feel like at times you want to heal others too. The Six of Coins, regardless, it's a giving energy. And a lot of times I'd be careful because sometimes in the Six of Pentacles you give more than what you have, which can be detrimental. So if you want to help, um, know what um, you have to prioritize first. And if you need to prioritize something, make sure you can do whatever you can to alleviate situations or that specific situation. The overall energy is the Hanged Man. And it's like hanging from a tree. Again, I was talking about Odin in the last message because it was kind of like a play on words when I was talking about one, and thought and memory linking to the to Odin's birds. There's something needing to be transformed, but there's a moment that you need to take your time with. It was kind of going in a different kind of message ish. Like I meant what I said when I said that, but with the Hanged Man, I also feel like there's a rootedness that comes out of it too. So I feel like that would be a little more reverse because in a Hanged Man position, you're not going to stay in the Hanged Man position. So this could be the thought of where you're going to root yourself. I feel like that's one of those main things that needs to be realized in here in this reading. The only knight that's in this spread, or the cards that I pulled out, is the Knight of Pentacles with the Knight of Swords, as I mentioned from the Glory to Ukraine Tarot. For some, it might have to do with a relationship too. And it's because the Hanged Man, now I feel like it makes more sense if you're in the Hanged Man position. Because this is the Ace of Cups. Because it feels like an energy of procrastination. And at this point, it's like you can't really procrastinate because it keeps like eating away, and it feels like time is ticking with it. And it's almost as if Spirit is like time is ticking, and you don't even have like a plan set. And it's kind of like, I guess I'll get there. I don't really know what I'm doing. But they're just as if like, because even the card in the beginning, it's like you'll know what to do. Just keep doing something. Just at least do something. And even in the past with the Page of Wands, that could be where the action was, and where it stopped because it seems like not a lot has progressed. And that could also be where the Six of Pentacles is coming from too. We're giving a little at a time, or needing to give a little more at a time to this Magician energy. Because with the Magician energy, it feels like there's a lot of elements, because there's the like the pentacle, and it's the elements fire, water, earth, and air, and at the top is like the ether. And with the circle, it's everything. The future is temperance, so with everything that goes on, it's likely to have just like, if you're having anxiety about it, I wouldn't have too much anxiety. I know like change or the things that you have to do, it may be stressful, but I feel like the reading is saying that it's okay if you want to be um, thinking about it, but not to over stress about it. The Ace of Pentacles is here with the Ace of Cups. The Ace of Pentacles is from the Victorian Fairy Tarot with the Nine of Cups. This is kind of feeling like becoming reality, like the dreams becoming a reality with the Nine of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles. So that's a nice combination. Now I'll pull out a couple more cards. I haven't seen most, if not, well, I haven't seen most of the cards from the Tarot of Mystical Moments. There's so much expression that comes out of this. The last couple of readings, because there's another instrument, and it's the King of Wands. And it cloaked with fire, wands linking to fire. This could be relationship related. It's not on the ring finger, but there is a ring on the thumb. So it kind of feels like it's a thumbs up too. So with the Empress, there is a nest that has a fetus, and it feels like, well, there's a crown that feels like it's meant to go on top of the baby's head, and or um, with that, it feels like it's almost time. Sorry, don't need any medical correction, but, I said it. So the fetus, and it feels like energy of like the next heir or something along those lines. Like it's almost time for you to do something. And with the High Priestess, this feels like checkup. This could be like the universe or the guides, and the guides could be within, like in your life too, like physically in your life. They could be more of like spirit guides, they could be animal totems, whatever you relate to. And with the moon there, it feels as if it's saying that, like again with the Ten of Swords, not necessarily the nosy energy, but there's another energy of this too, where those, like a person or maybe a group of people that genuinely care about, like maybe like your well-being or what you do, and in the beginning, like the Ten of Swords, like those energies that were like kind of prodding, it didn't feel like they had much of an intention. I feel like they didn't mean much harm to it, but they also didn't care enough to check in either. Then with the Ten of Pentacles, I really like the Ten of Cups in this deck. See, even with the Empress and the Ten of Pentacles, you see that there is like a labyrinth in a way. And then in the background, it looks like there's like a family, and that feels more linked to lineage. And with the Fool card, this feels like a person like going through their garden, but it feels, um, even though it looks like it's daytime, it kind of feels like it's nighttime because there's a little sense of eeriness. Because maybe the person is wandering at weird parts of the day because this path is actually an alligator, I believe. And reminds me of the Knight of Pentacles too, because traditionally the Knight of Pentacles does have some, has a bird. But there is that sense of knowing too, of being cautious, since I said the Nine of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles isn't one that isn't experienced. And then I'll pull out one more card. Another Knight. And at the bottom is the Queen of Cups. It's interesting with this Nine of Cups, it looks like there's a checkerboard at the bottom. With this reading specifically, there's a sense of like not knowing where to go, not knowing what to do. With the stance, it kind of feels like it's a little bit of like stopping and going, but not asking for directions. And the horse seems more relaxed, like it's not really on a mission to go anywhere that's drastic or that there's a need for a lot of movement. Sorry, the card that I said was the Queen of Cups is actually the Six of Cups. I just saw the um, six at the top. So with the Nine of Cups, I do feel like it's someone linked to the past since the Six of Cups came out with the Knight. And this must be why the energy of not knowing what to do, a little lost in that regard, maybe even not knowing. I know it's the cup soup, but not knowing to say what to say. Um, when it's like confessing certain things or doing certain things. So there, it's that aspect. So there's different, overall, as I said, there's multiple people that seem to be intrigued or tuning in to listen to that, those, the other things. So, things about life and maybe what you're doing and stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. Thanks for your time, because I know I tend to talk a lot about everything, and I'll see you in another video.